was previously classified perhaps, which shed some light on the origins of COVID?
You know, we've been having this debate in our country over classified information. First, there were some found at Donald Trump's residence. Then there were some found at Biden's residence. Then there were some at Mike Pence's. And everybody's like, oh, what are we going to do? We have these special prosecutors. Maybe the problem is that we classify too much. For example, in 2018, the Chinese asked for U.S. money from our defense agency, DARPA. They asked for this money to create a coronavirus, but not just any old virus. They would take one from nature and add a special site to that, something called a furin-cleavage site, which it makes more infectious for humans. And they wanted to do this as research. But everybody kind of knows that this kind of research can create viruses that are more infectious. They can gain function. They could be more dangerous to humans. And DARPA turned them down. Well, we didn't find this out because Dr. Fauci, in the goodness of his heart, said, well, you know, we have been looking at this, and the Chinese are doing this research. No. He resisted. They hid the documents. They've classified the documents. And we only found out because a whistleblower released it. I don't know who the whistleblower was. The story is that the whistleblower released it to a group called Drastic. And Drastic is this unofficial group of internet sleuths that really have found out some amazing things about what's going on in China. They got the release of this, and then they released it to the public. But the interesting thing is, it was stamped classified, and it's illegal. Whoever did this broke the law. And I think there was a greater service here. I mean, the greater
Hey,
service
stop before somebody gets hurt.
It shows the Chinese were trying to develop a virus that looks, guess what, just like COVID-19. And then all of a sudden, you get COVID-19 a year later. And you have to ask yourself, coincidence? You wanted to develop a virus that looks like COVID-19, and then COVID-19 arises a year later. It makes a lot of us very suspicious that the Chinese actually did this and it leaked from other labs.
Does this mean that the State Department was in any way involved in funding COVID-19 research in China?
I asked Wendy Sherman this also. She's number 2 at the State Department. And she said, oh, I'll get back to you. Let me look into it. I'll see if we are. And so I explained to her that I already knew the answer. Yes, they've been doing it for a decade to the tune of millions and millions of dollars. They pay for a program called PREDICT. And what PREDICT does is it pays Chinese scientists. Why U.S. taxpayers are paying Chinese scientists, I don't know. But it pays Chinese scientists to go hundreds of feet deep into bat caves, dig up the guano, the bat excrement, dig up bats, take all these samples from that, collect the viruses, and then take them back to Wuhan. They take them back to a city of 10 million. You know, what might happen? Well, they might get bitten by a bat. They might get infected by some viruses of that. They might cultivate it in a petri dish or grow it in a broth, and then it gets out and infects somebody. But really, it doesn't make any sense. And there ought to be a debate over it. But this is how bad the debate is. The State Department doesn't even know they're funding this. The number 2 of the State Department had no idea that for decades they've been funding this research on coronaviruses.
Senator Rand Paul, thank you for talking to us on American News. Good to catch up with you, sir.
Thank you.
Talking about the gas prices going down to 160 per gallon. That's because the president took historic steps to see